Welcome to Violin Adventures number 187. That means we only have 12 episodes left before the grand 200th episode, which is going to be all of you. Thank you to all of you who are sending in your pictures. This is going to make our 200th episode so exciting. So if you haven't already, please send in a picture of a project you're working on or a short little video. You can send to my email in the description box below. This week we start off, we're finishing up the 1800s violin and sending it back home. Next comes the 1900s violin, and then some progress on Professor Jasinski's cello, a Hebrew minute, and Freddie always wants to chat. Hope you enjoy. Okay, we've got the neck finished and the fingerboard reshaped, so we're going to play this one last time and then send it back home to California. Okay, it's nice and responsive on all the strings, and it even sounds good when you go clear up high. It's got a clear tone. So, we're going to get this wrapped up and sent back home. I loosen the strings just a little bit. I'm going to put padding around the bridge and under the tailpiece, just in case those fall down. And we want to keep the tailpiece from rubbing against the top of the violin. Now on to our 1900s violin. So we have this special violin from Pennsylvania, and I have copies of the old catalogs back when you could order a violin from a catalog. And this comes from the Metropolitan Music Company in New York. And I found this violin, a Bergonzi copy, and the date is around 1935. So we are going to look at this violin. We need to take it off, give it a new bass bar, make sure the insides are all good, and we'll go from there. This is a copy of the old catalogs where you could pick out your violin. Here it's showing how they choose the wood and stack it up, and they've got lots of good wood. And that's the good thing about these violins, is they had good wood, whereas today a lot of the cheaper instruments are not made from good wood. Let's look inside, see what we find. Okay, so definitely we got to get rid of that old bass bar and get a new one in. And then here is our naughty label. This is not a Bergonzi. Over here we have a repair from Pennsylvania in 1920. And then another one in 2020. So we can see from the front that there was a crack along here, which is the bass bar. And that's fairly common with these instruments because of the bass bar that's in there. We also see that there were a few cracks here. So we're going to take out all of these patches and take out the bass bar and give it a new start. We want to add tone to this top. Okay, on our early 1900s violin, we have two places here where the ribs are loose from the block, and it's on this side. So right here and right up here, we're going to put some glue in there and make sure that is secure. And then on the top, this crack right along here is open on the outside but not on the inside. So I'm going to put glue in here, and also the same with the crack down here. So I'm going to put glue in both of those places, and we'll let them dry overnight, and then we can see about getting a bass bar in, and then we'll cleat. Okay, we're going to get the clamps off of this violin. Okay, so there's still a little buzz on this top. Okay, we're going to close up 2 more cracks on this top before we work on the bass bar. Okay, we've got a bass bar fit. We're going to get it glued in. Okay, last night I was getting the clamps on here and I look up and the camera had stopped. So now it's the next morning. We're going to get the clamps off and get this bass bar shaped. Okay, we've got the bass bar crafted, and there's those cracks that were open that were buzzing, so we're going to get cleats on those. Alright, there it is. We've got 6 clamps on there. Okay, we're working on the 1900s violin here, and the goal is to give it the best voice possible. And at this point I'm going to seal the inside, and then on the outside here we have probably a commercial varnish. We need to get this off. Slowly but surely we'll get this varnish off of here. Okay, so it looks like this violin was antiqued when it was made, because there are scratches in here. Like there's even, it looks like a sound post crack, but it may just be drawn on. But I'll have to figure that out before we close it up and make sure it's not a real crack. But I see as I clean this off, we've got lines and scratches that were put in there just to make it look old. Okay, an update on this top. This is the early 1900s violin, and we took the varnish off as much as we could. And the tone now is much better. I'm much happier with the tone. Before, just didn't have, it was missing something. But now that we got the varnish off, I think it's sounding more like it's going to have a better tone. So I'm happy with this. Now it's going to be a little tricky to figure out. We need to definitely have an oil varnish on this, and to get the right color so that we can match this, and then also to allow it to dry. It might take a little while, but good progress on our early 1900s violin.
Might I recommend you studying cello making with Cheryl Macomber. What a wonderful teacher. And it's very enjoyable. At times frustrating. But what good in life isn't? If you want to learn how to do this, Cheryl never gets mad at you. Though she should. Because sometimes you make dumb mistakes. But there's no dumb mistakes. Well, yes, there are. There's mistakes and then there's dumb mistakes.
Okay, so I put some color in here. We have gold, red, and black decorations here. And now I'm going to put one more coat of varnish on this little guy. And then we can set him up. So I think that'll be the last coat. I'm going to give it a week to dry, and then we can set it up. Okay, back to our anecdotes, and I also want to get back to our violins and violinists. There's some good stories in here, but they are a little bit long, so we would have to spread them out. But until we get that figured out, we're reading from Anecdotes of Great Musicians, published in 1897. This is number 64, and it's entitled Personal Appearance. There is an individuality that shows itself in dress and personal appearance, though to form any concept of what a person may be musically, by these indications, would be work for an expert in reading character by the outward manifestations. We may well imagine that Bach was a methodical man in dress as well as music, though to tell the truth, those 20 children must have sensibly reduced the amount the irascible cantor could squander on dress. Both Haydn and Mozart were neat and tidy men in personal appearance, but one could not say the same for Beethoven and Schubert. The matter of externals was of little import to them. Perhaps the fact that they were confirmed bachelors made them less careful of their personal appearance. Mendelssohn was a pronounced aristocrat in dress as well as music, and the same might be said of Liszt, though of the two, Mendelssohn had perhaps the more refined appearance and the more elegant bearing. Liszt had less of delicate refinement in his appearance and more of the mien of a commanding general. Chopin, in the later part of his life, must be ranked as a musical aristocrat, although in his earlier days music occupied his mind to the exclusion of matters of dress and appearance. Yet one who comes before the public must concede something to custom and the manner in which Chopin steered between his indolence and fashion was, to say the least, peculiar. The way in which he reconciled his carelessness in respect to one matter of his toilet with regard for the feelings of his audiences, he tells in a letter sent to his parents from Vienna in 1831. He says, in writing of some family friends, "When they saw me at Madame Chauchek's, their astonishment knew no bounds at my looking such a proper fellow. I have left my whiskers only on the right cheek. They grow very well there, and there is really no occasion to have them on my left cheek, as I always sit with my right toward the audience." Can you believe that? That is ridiculous. Okay, one more. This is number 67, and it is called Leoncavallo's Whimsical Opinion Concerning His Clowns. Composers are not always keen to tell stories at their own expense or at that of their compositions, but the following related by Leoncavallo, the prominent young composer of the modern Italian school, he deemed too good to keep, though at the time it put him in the light of a first-class plagiarist. Being one day in the town of Forlì, he heard that his opera, Pagliacci, that work which was given him so much fame, was to be produced, and he decided to hear it incognito. That the rising young composer was in town was not generally known. At the opera, his seat was beside a bright-eyed and enthusiastic young lady who, when she saw the composer, did not join in the general applause, but remained quiet, turned to him with the question, "Why do you not applaud? Does it not suit you?" The composer, much amused, replied, "No, on the contrary, it displeases me. It is the work of a mere beginner, not to call him anything worse." "Then you are ignorant of music?" she said. "Oh, no," replied the composer. And then he proceeded to enlighten her on the subject, proving the music worthless and entirely without originality. "See," said he, "this motive is," and he hummed lightly a short melody, "this aria is stolen from Bizet, and that is from Beethoven." In short, he tore the whole opera to pieces. His neighbor sat in silence, but with an air of pity on her countenance. At the close, she turned to him and said, "Is what you have said to me your honest opinion?" "Entirely so," was the reply. "Good," said she, and with a malicious gleam in her eyes left the theater. Next morning, glancing over the paper, his eye fell upon the heading, "Leoncavallo on his Pagliacci," and reading further was somewhat startled to find the conversation of the evening before fully reported and accredited to the proper source. He had unfortunately played his little joke on a lady reporter who had proved too smart for him. We'll close off there and we'll read some more from either one of these books next time. Freddie wants to chat.
Hi, Freddie. Freddie, and I'm so excited. My friend Thomas Pinch sent me another video, and he's playing the harmonium that he repaired. So here it goes. Wow! And thank you to everyone that's turning in pictures of your projects that you're working on. It's getting really exciting, and we need more. Please send in a picture of what you're working on or a short video, and we'll include it in the 200th episode. Yay! You can send it to the email in the description box below. Yay! See you soon!
The Hebrew Minute. Vayirem katom levavo, uvit vonot, kaper yanchem. He fed them or shepherded them according to the integrity of his heart, and he guided them by the skillfulness of his hands. If you know where this is found, please leave it in the comments below. Here it is, Friday, a beautiful sunny day. Let's go inside and see what's going on. Wow, walking inside the shop, I just got back from an auction. This great big secretary. And inside, all these drawers, which I love drawers. And then the top has all these cubby holes with drawers even on the bottom. This is a project that I'll be working on in my spare time, but this is very tall. Both pieces are probably put together about 8 feet tall. I'm really getting sidetracked and I got to get back to work, but I wanted to show you the bottom of these drawers. They're all numbered, and you can see how the edges are indented. So it's very nice work. So here's our 1900's violin. We've got the inside done. Now we need to just work on the top and try to make it match the back. And over here is our little pochette, which is drying nicely. So I'll probably let it sit for about a week. Thank you so much for watching. I sincerely appreciate all of you. Thank you for your thumbs up and for the comments. And thank you to those who have sent in pictures for the 200th episode. We're really looking forward to this episode. There's so much variety out there, so send in your pictures of whatever you're working on, and the address is in the description box below. Until next time, bye!